this is my BMW E60 525 N52 engine, NA, from 2008-2007. Originally I got this car from a gentleman who worked at Sadek. I think it was around 2018-2019. So I wasn't done after the car. And when I got the car, it was well kept. It was taken care of. It was only driven in the city, and I think I've explored the limits of the car. I really enjoyed the car over the course of my ownership, and it's actually the reason why I started this channel, this car, because through this car I got to learn a lot about cars. I got to meet a lot of people, a lot of enthusiasts in the car community, both here in Botswana and in South Africa. And because I also got stuck a lot with this car, I got to build a lot of relationships, or forge a lot of relationships with people who are in the car community, either here in Botswana or in South Africa. A bit heavy on gas, especially when you are around the city, but when you are going on a long drive, it's the perfect car. It's spacious inside as well, and you are not really complaining about leg room, headroom, anything. You are sorted in those areas, and it's a cruiser, man. Like, the car is a cruiser. It's meant for driving, for touring, and it enjoys being driven. So, like, I've done a lot of trips with the car, and all of them are memorable in their own way. But I remember the first time we took the car out on a long trip, it was from Gaborone. We were going to Palape, then from Palape to Serowe, to attend born and raised. Then from Serowe, we drove the car to Rustenburg. That was one hell of a drive. But of course, we slept Serowe, and then we drove to Rustenburg the next day. And I think it was on that trip, it was our first trip with the car, which was long, and it was also in that trip where we got to get stuck. And we got stuck because of a silly thing. I think the compressor seized and it killed the belt when we were in Rustenburg. We had arrived in Rustenburg, and that's how I actually got to meet one of my close friends right now in the car community, Tepo, the guy with the 7R, so he's gonna kill me, 7R. That's how I got to meet him, because he's the one who then fitted the belt for me at that time. At that time, we had to bypass the compressor and fit like a shorter belt. He did it, arrived in there with the car. And through the car, I also met Lolo. He's the one who's been dealing with the car, servicing the car ever since I bought the car from the gentleman. The gentleman was servicing the car with Pneumatic, but then I took it to because of the convenience and because of the good words I've heard about the man. And I've never really complained. We've done a lot of crazy things on the car. I remember the first day we had to change the gearbox on the car, the radio at some point, but that was my own doing, because the car was spending a lot of time under the sun, so the radio was sort of taking damage. And plus, this is an old car, but other than that, there isn't really much. I've also tried to give the car a bit of TLC. It didn't come with the sport bumper that you see on the car right now. I put that bumper in, but the original bumper I still have it, because this is a standard 525 N50. But this is one of like the most reliable engines ever. I know people were complaining every time, and even on forums, Facebook, everywhere, BMW this, BMW that, but this is one of the best. I have no complaints. I've only done the gearbox, the radio, and that was pretty much it in terms of like stuff that I had to do that is like costly. Other than that, the car has been running proper. I feel like for the time I've been behind the wheel of this car, I've got to learn a lot about myself, a lot to learn about the car, a lot to learn about the environment, how to associate with people, how to make everyone understand a lot of dynamics, and all of that has been through this car. So it's a really sentimental car to me, and it means a lot to me to drive it. Sometimes I feel like I neglect it for my golf, but the time I go back behind this car, I always get a sense of joy and happiness, because that's what this car is about. It brings me a lot of good memories, and those are just priceless. It's a wonderful car. I wouldn't trade it for anything. Just 525. It's for the books.